On April 11, 1970, Apollo 13 was launched to send astronauts on a third lunar landing mission. Just 2 days after the launch, the space capsule was crippled by an explosion, which caused a loss of electricity and oxygen. The 3 astronauts were stranded in space. Their first call to Earth was, "Houston, we've got a problem." They needed help, but this had never happened before. Thousands of miles away from Earth, the astronauts were totally dependent on what the scientists at the Houston Space Center could tell them in order to fix their spacecraft enough to come home. The astronauts had to trust the scientists enough to keep communicating. When the scientists gave them the solutions, the astronauts had to trust in what they were told to do to fix the spacecraft. As the world watched, bringing the astronauts home seemed an impossibility. How could the scientists on Earth fix a disabled spacecraft floating thousands of miles above the Earth? In order to come home, the Apollo 13 astronauts had to take the following steps. They had to contact their base in Houston. They had to believe the scientists could solve the problems. They had to wait for an answer. They had to put action to the solutions that the scientists gave them. Impossible things are never accomplished without faith that leads to action. Who was in the driver's seat in this situation? The astronauts or the Houston scientists? Who's in the driver's seat of your life? You or Jesus? Our theme text comes from Matthew 16, verse 24 from the Message Bible. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat, I am. Don't run from suffering, embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. In our lesson this week, we're seeing how Jesus is constantly trying to help his disciples have more faith. God allows us to have free choice whether we're going to have faith in him or not. He doesn't force his way into our lives. And as humans, we're solely dependent on him to give us this faith. We need him for faith, and he needs us to make the choice to allow him to work in our lives. This week, I hope that you understand that to grow in faith, that you have to be honest about your own spiritual condition. I also hope that you desire to have a growing faith experience. And finally, determine your own action steps to grow in your personal faith.